Hey, 21 goals. How about it? SU undefeated for the first time since 4 seasons ago, averaging 17 a game. I'm Chris Sachi alongside Frankie Verdowski here on the Double Overtime. 315-443-2011 is the number to call. And Tyler Melito, welcome to the Ocean Avenue Studios. Tyler was at the Dome reporting for us on Twitter, and now he's live. How was the game?
The game was very fun. It's nice to be inside here with you guys now because, not going to lie, that game had my heart racing, especially that third quarter, back and forth constantly. It was an electric atmosphere inside the Dome.
Huge crowd and a huge Hobart contingency.
Yeah, it was a very interesting. It's obviously not too far of a ride from Geneva, but there was a large student section for a Friday night game inside the Dome.
I love that.
And they were loud and boisterous, backing their squad through and through until, obviously, the fourth quarter when Syracuse just pulled away.
I don't know about you guys. I can't think of any other sport or rivalry that has quite the dynamic of this, where you have the Titanic Syracuse lacrosse program and Hobart down the road, a team that stayed in Division I just to continue to play the Orange. I just cannot really think of another rivalry quite like this. It's just incredible.
Yeah, there really is nothing else like it, especially in college sports. Obviously, you see rivalries like Duke and North Carolina in basketball, and I'm sure there's a lot more that I can't think. Alabama and LSU in football. But this, when you have a Goliath of a powerhouse at school in Syracuse at Lacrosse, who've had all the success they had, second most wins in college lacrosse history, and then Hobart, who has seventh most wins in college lacrosse history, but a smaller school, they don't get as many big recruits, but they just fight competitively every single year. It was a great game in this one, especially compared to last year, which was more of a blowout.
Yeah, Ted Huss of Lax Factor said it himself best. Every year that Hobart plays Syracuse, especially inside the Dome, they seem to bring that extra notch. And Jack Grooms was a Syracuse native. He's a freshman for Hobart. He scored the goal that tied it at 7, a bar down goal, and then also scored the goal with about 4:26 left in the third to make it a 1-goal game. Did you hear visible and audible cheers from that Hobart section, especially because one of their own from Syracuse was exacting revenge inside the Dome?
It was palpable, especially from that Hobart section. They were cheering probably even louder than the Syracuse fans, who probably outnumber them 2-1 inside the Dome. Every time Hobart made a play, especially toward the end of the second quarter and in the third quarter, the Hobart fans kept bringing it and bringing it. And had it not been for Tucker Dordovic's 5 goals, Chase Scanlon's 4, Brendan Curry's 5, I think Hobart could have easily pulled it out. Syracuse needed every single thing from their star players and their star midfield in this game.
What was your biggest takeaway from head coach John Desko postgame?
I think my biggest takeaway from him was just that Drake Porter obviously did not have his biggest game, especially coming off the game he did against Army. He just told Porter, he talked to him after the game, and he's like, it was all smiles. We're ready to move on. Porter was happy that the team got to win, and I think that's a big thing. These guys, they're not selfish on the Syracuse team. They're happy when the team has success because they have had individual success in recent years, but they haven't really had the team success. This team feels different this time around.
No, they talk a lot better about each other than they do about themselves.
Yeah, you're right. You made a good point. This team just feels a little bit different, a little bit extra juice, especially on the offensive side. And what about also, you talked about Tucker. This is a player who missed all of last season with a broken foot, had to find his footing early on in the season.
No pun intended.
Yes, exactly. 7 points tonight.
Yeah.
What a coming out party for Tucker. What was he like post-game? Was he all smiles? Was he keeping it cool? Well, and also probably a lot of questions directed towards him, too.
Yeah, a lot of questions directed in Tucker Dordovic's way. He was at times smiling, like you kind of said, but he was humble. He expects this type of performance out of him, and he admitted, first couple of games, he was a little jittery, he was a little nervous, especially in that first game of the year, but now he's starting to, no pun intended, gain his footing. He's starting to feel more comfortable out there on the field, and I think if he can have success going down for the rest of the year, him, Chase Scanlon, Brendan Curry has shown he could be a great third option. This team is so deep, and they mentioned that at the presser as well. Just from top to bottom, this team has a bunch of playmakers at every single position.
Tyler,
Nick Mellon's out.
You were there in person, and you got to see Dordovic's all of his goals and that first goal, that split dodge. I'm wondering if he by chance busted your ankles too.
Oh yeah,
sitting watching 100 yards away.
Oh yeah, my ankles hurt after watching that goal. He juked the defender back to Geneva. It was that good of a move, and it just shows that the foot is probably starting to feel even better for Dordovic, especially given how much time he has missed. And it just carried over. I think once he got that first goal, the confidence level rose significantly for Tucker, and it just obviously was the story of the game for Syracuse.
And we talked about it earlier, how with his foot feeling better and his mental confidence, that his cuts are sharper, his shots he's rearing back maybe a few inches more, which could make all the difference. And you talked about how the confidence rose for Tucker. What about the ceiling of the Syracuse team? How high can that be when you have a player like Tucker now firing maybe on all cylinders for the rest of the year?
The ceiling is very high. To quote Michael Jordan, the ceiling is
I knew
the
you were
roof.
going there.
I was going.
I knew he was going there. You had to.
Teed it up
especially
for me.
with the new roof coming in the dome. It's too easy.
It's too easy. But yeah, the ceiling is very high for this team. I think this team is the best they've had in a long time for Syracuse. And they've had some good teams in the past. But with Tucker Dordovic, Chase Scanling, Brandon Curry, and not even to mention, the defense is still solid. Brett Kennedy, Nick Mellon's hurt, but he'll be back soon, hopefully. Drake Porter and net. This team could definitely make it to the Final Four and make it. Sorry, it's been a long day inside the dome.
You hustle back from the dome. No
I
worries,
had to run back over here. I wanted to talk to you guys. But yeah, a national championship is definitely in the cards for the Syracuse team.
You, sir, were a part of history tonight. The final game in this iteration of the Dome. They were giving out, replica Dome tins, too,
They were huge. They were not like these little tins that you think you
Really?
hold, like a cookie jar. These were massive tins.
Well, what was I doing here the whole time?
Yeah,
You should have gone and gotten one, honestly. I'm mad at myself for not getting one. But yeah, the Dome, what a way to send it off for this iteration of the Dome by Syracuse men's lacrosse, a team who has had so much success inside the Dome in its long history. I think now they're getting ready to write some new history come 2021.
I like it. Tyler bringing the buzz for this season. And why not? Averaging 17 a game.
Oh, yeah.
They win it 21-13 over Hobart tonight inside the Dome. The number to call, 315-443-2011. Right around 15 minutes left in the program. And we're going to get to a break in a few minutes. So you got some time to call him, but we still got Tyler here with us. And Tyler, you talked about the ceiling is the roof for the Syracuse team. I mean, it's got to be when you have three players who are capable of hat tricks. And Jamie Trimboli had a career day last game against Army, and he was almost not an afterthought, but a quiet 4 points.
Yeah, Jamie Trimboli had another really solid game. He is emerged into a role. And a guy that you can't even gloss over, Griffin Cook. He only had one goal and on 3 shots, but he was just able to create so much of the offense for Syracuse, making the right reads and allowing guys the opportunity. It was just an overall top-to-bottom performance, stellar play by everyone for Syracuse.
I was just going to ask you about, or bring up Griffin Cook again, because he had 2 caused turnovers, which I think he's averaging about 2 or 3 a game for a guy who's a really talented ball handler down low on the attack. This defense, especially in the fourth, how much did you feel the energy shift, particularly defensively for this Orange squad, who just ratcheted up against Hobart?
Yeah, this Orange squad, especially their defense, showed that they have another gear. It looked like through 2+ quarters of this game that Syracuse, they could lose this game. And then the defense decided, you know what, we are better than this. We got to ramp it up without our best defender, as we've mentioned, in Nick Mellon. And it's just been it was so fun to watch this team, just the grit and drive they have on defense. They were able to lock down Hobart's best defenders. Hobart did score 2 goals in the fourth quarter, but they had to work for every shot they get, and they weren't able to get really many good shots in that fourth quarter.
Tyler Melito, great job. Thanks so much for joining us. Anything we forgot before we get to break, maybe from the press conference, from the fans at the game, anything that maybe we missed tonight?
Nothing. I think we've hit on a lot of stuff. You guys have hit on a lot of stuff during the show. I think the one thing for Syracuse is they can't get caught looking ahead. They are at 4-0, number 3 in the country, in a great spot right now. They just need to take it one day at a time, one game at a time, because a lot of their games, obviously they have no more games in the Dome. 6 of their final 8 games are on the road. They just need to make sure that they stick to their game plan and work hard every single day and they could be hoisting up the national championship trophy once again.
Well, Tyler, once again, thank you so much. You made a good point about Syracuse not wanting to look ahead, but when we come back here in the double overtime, we're on till 10:30, so why not look ahead to wrap up the show at Johns Hopkins coming up this Saturday, and then you got, like you said, 6 out of your final 8 games away from home. This is the double overtime only on WAER. Call us up, 315-443-2011 on until 10:30.